Hi, y'all. Can you hear? Hi, y'all. Can you hear? Oh, shoot. Great. Larry will be here in a minute. It's like the computer, these weren't muted, and I think I fixed it, but I don't know if I did. It's like, cross your fingers.
What, the windows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get it fixed.
It's called trust.
After
It's
all these
it's
years,
trust now.
finally.
Yeah. Hey, anything anybody wants to do? Postures, body parts? Like the side or like the back part?
Whatever right there is.
It, it looks to me like you're kind of hitting here. Like think of it. So quick little like run through. Adductors are going to be here, right? They're going to do muscles that do this, right? Quads, they're going to do this, and and one of them is going to do this, right? Uh, TFL, IT band, some of this stuff, glute, this stuff here, external rotation, extension, hamstrings, flexion in the knee here, pulling the knee this way, right? Because if the quads went this way, these would have to shorten this way. And then this outside one is one that's going to do this, like kick straight, like a extension, right? So here, where my line of my pants is going to be like, think of where my pocket is. Here's like my hip bone, and here's the lateral head of my femur, the outside bump on my thigh bone. This is right between there is where it's going to be like red. That's where it'll be like a muscle. Then it'll start to turn a little pink, and then it'll turn white, right? So that would be here. But right behind here is right where you're going to get those glutes to kick in. And then where the dimple of your butt is where glute median and piriformis is that we talk about all the time. So like this whole thing.
The right behind whatever that glute line is.
More back here.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll play with that a little bit. One way I clear that line for myself is, like besides yoga, you sit on the ball. And then what you're gonna do is, you're gonna put the ball, like, you're gonna try to take the ball here, and you're trying to clear this rim. Like, here's the rim, right, where the pelvic rim is, and here's where the attachment is gonna be up here. So you're gonna try to run the ball all the way out to the side. So you sit on it and think about what the action we just said if it was. Internal, external rotation, right? So now I'm gonna put my body into that. I'm gonna go like this. So should we do this, right? And we go back and forth. And when we do this, we'll start to peel that open. Think of what you're trying to do is traction the muscle. So if you hold it in one spot, it will then be able to stretch out throughout some other places. Make sense? So that's kind of a good way to like clear that, besides just yoga. I mean, we're just kind of talking about the body, but that's a good way to kind of clear as well. So we'll get into that spot. We'll get into like, usually outside of this would be like a Gomukhasana, like a cow facing, or our knees are together. That one's pretty challenging, right? That kind of gets both sides. Maybe we'll get a pigeon in there as well. All right, take a nice seat. Close the eyes. Sit up. Sit up nice and tall. Take a couple breaths. Set that intention for your class today, for your practice. And the intention is just, what do you want to receive from the practice? You know, when you set that intention or that goal, that's going to give you something to reach for. You know, I did that this past week, and I did that in the water, and I wanted to try to work on something. And, you know, it's hard because you got to trade off, right? When you're practicing something, it's not always going to be in that perfect state, right? Sometimes you're going to have to give something up to learn in a new way, right? And not give it up completely, but you might have to trade something off, right? For me, it might be not getting to ride the wave all the way to the beach because I want to try to do a move that I don't normally do, and maybe it didn't work out, right? But you got to be willing to give that up. But we got to think, is it a trade-off in a good way? Am I growing from it? And we do that in our practice all the time. Sometimes we just have to pause and take a breath. And we take a look and see what's going on here. And we feel what our body's doing. And we build on it. Just like our breath. You start by just listening to yourself breathe. And then you're going to have to give up maybe that ease, right? Because you have to bring a little more intention to those next refinements of slowing down the beginning of the inhale and pushing more on the end of the exhale, or counting out the breath to get to Ujjayi. Find where you need to be in the breath. The next inhale, let the arms lift. Inhale, and the exhale brings the fingertips and the knuckle pads to root. Now bring that space between our palms. And one time together to initiate our practice. Together the sound of Om. All together, deep breath in. Beautiful. As we softly bow our head to our hearts to each other's hearts. Inhale, lift the head, open the eyes, release the hands. Okay, let's start out all fours, hands and knees. So set up that nice all fours, hands an inch or two in front of your shoulders, and have them to the outside of your shoulders. So you can see for a lot of us, our fingers are going to hang off the mat. For me, my middle finger, the tip of my middle finger, and then my ring and pinky all hang off the mat. It's really just the palm of my hand, My pointer finger and my thumb are really all that's solid on the mat. But that's the space that I need with my shoulder and things that go on in my body. Find where you need to be. In the knees, an inch or two behind your hips, but at least hips width apart. We don't want to be narrow like this, right? We want to work that space. Curl your toes. Pull your belly to your spine, right? You can see I try to train my body to not let this happen. So right away, as soon as I sit up that all fours, I'm like belly to spine. Shutters are closed and just start to work the breath now. Low mountain. The engagement is going to be the hug in. So you're hugging the hands in, the forearms, you're squeezing the biceps, you're sweeping the heels out, you're hugging the shins in, you're pulling the heels to the butt, belly and shutters for the core, the muscles running up your back. But then the expansion, like the organic side, is how much you can peel yourself apart with the breath. So feel the side body starting to lengthen. Feel the space between the ribs starting to open up. Feel the head and the throat starting to slide back a little more. And then when you're ready, work your cat-cow. Inhale, arch the back, lift the sit bones, reach through the crown of the head. Exhale, round the back. Look to your belly. Lengthen your sit bones towards your heels. Your inhale, arch. Your exhale, round. And just move slow here. Undulating the spine, linking it with the breath. Feel the spine working through its range of motion here, flexion and extension. Sometimes when we do the oscillating cat-cows, right, we start to take it side to side and around. But here, we're really feeling that extension part, right? When we look up, that's real nice engagement there. And then to open, you look to your belly a little bit more. You lengthen your sit bones to the backs of your knees. One more. And then we'll meet in that neutral position again, that flat back, low mountain. Build it up. Keep hugging in. And then use that breath to start peeling yourself apart. And take the knees back a couple inches. Come the puppy dog. And puppy dog, the arms are up overhead as the hips stack up on top of the knees. Yep. Start to work those arms so you're hugging in. You're lifting the forearms and the inner biceps. Slide your forehead off the mat if it's not there already. So you start working that upper back. And then pull the belly and the shutters closed. Then soften the chest towards the mat a little bit. And then as you look forward, TP the fingers on the right hand. Thread that left hand underneath. Take the little twist here. Keep building into that left leg, up into that left hip. And then breathe forward so the spine gets nice and long here. And then maybe start to peek under that right arm a little bit. Maybe right elbow goes to the sky for a little more space and twist under a little bit deeper. Next inhale, come back to center. Soften down the middle. When you're ready, TP the fingers on the left hand. Thread that right hand underneath, or whatever your side 2 is. And then work those legs in this pose. That's going to be the trick to bringing the energy to hold the hip. Because you know, twist will dump into the low body, but that's not where they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be in the upper body, especially in that upper back, that thoracic spine. And then inhale, come back to center. Soften down the middle. Pull the belly in. Pull those shutters closed as you do that. Otherwise, this happens. And see, I should be all the way here. That's a big difference. Next inhale, come up, all fours, hands and knees. Take a couple breaths. Step back to plank. And then back to downward dog. Bend the knees a little bit. Pedal the heels a little bit. Swivel the heels. Whatever feels good to you. Sometimes you hear me say, like, soften up that first dog. Now, we've already warmed this a little bit because we've been in puppy dog. So the upper body we got. We're hugging in. We're lifting the forearms and the inner biceps. We're sliding our head and throat back.
Then when we connect to the belly and the shutters, before we softened our chest towards the floor in puppy dog. Now push your hands down and forward, take your chest back towards like your toenails or your shins. And there's that opener you're looking for. And then engage in the legs, maybe start to reach from the hips, down the back of the legs, out of the bottom of the heels, and get that nice opener down that back body. Next inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Take 3 nice breaths. So you could stay low here. Some of you are going to come up a little bit higher, wherever you want to be. But everybody's shoulders are back and down away from your ears. The exhale, lower the chest. Push up through plank. Back to downward dog. Now, if it feels good to keep the knees bent in downward dog, keep them bent. Feels good to straighten them, straighten them. Whatever works for you. But keep all those actions to create a strong foundation. Right? Keep the engagement and then express the pose. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Take the 3 nice breaths. Keep dragging yourself forward by pulling your hands back towards your waist. Then after your 3 breaths, lower the chest or back to chaturanga. Push up through plank. And back to downward dog. Look forward, bend your knees, step or jump between your hands, swing your arms up, take a nice big reach. Pull the belly in, take those sit bones down, reach up nice and tall. Maybe curl back a little bit, feel that peel come up your belly, come up your chest, up your neck, up your arms, up and out of the fingers. Inhale, come up, exhale, right hand behind your back, left hand to your elbow. Keep those hips back. Don't let this happen, right? Keep this back. Then push your head back into your forearm and then start to stand up tall. Then draw your fingers up towards the sky to intensify that stretch. Exhale, release. Inhale the arms up. Swap side 2. Remember, this is a better look than this. We'd rather be this way because at least we're in human movement and a hip hinge, right? This is anterior pelvic tilt, our misalignment. So keep all this back. And then use the push your head back into your forearm to stand up tall. Yep, little by little. Don't go too fast. And then start to draw your fingers up. Yep. Exhale, release. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, place the hands, step the right leg back, lunge. Stepping back, all right, just to give you kind of an idea of where my thought comes from. What we're going to try to do is we're going to try to warm those muscles up a little bit, extending out of the hip, right? We don't want to keep dominating flexion. We already know that dominates our day, right? We want to try to get that reach back here, get some of that extension out of the hip. Now, nice and powerful in the legs. The hands are there just for connection, right? Anytime I move my hands, my body doesn't move, right? Because the legs are holding that. This is just giving me a little support, a little connection. Now, fire it up. Keep pushing down. But now we reach out of the back heel. We reach forward out of the front knee. We reach up and out of the crown of the head. We even breathe side to side. And inhale, come up, Vira 1 crescent. Keep pulling that right hip forward so you're squaring the hip. And then pull up from the pelvic floor through the belly, right up the abdominal wall. And then if you want to play with that curl back, maybe curl back into the pose. Yeah, but keep that good extension by reaching the heel back. 1 more breath. Then exhale the hands down, step forward. Keep the knees bent. So here's when we reach the left leg back, reach out of your heel. See, not this way. We want to go this way, out of our heel. That's going to help initiate that extension out of the hip. Right, get the muscles to turn on. That's basically what my whole teaching is with y'all, right? Get muscles to turn on that don't want to. Right? That's what I try to do. That's my sneaky therapeutics. How do we get the back body to fire up when we know we're so front body dominant? Now keep pushing down and keep hugging in. The hug in is front to back, it's side to side. The top to bottom is the push down. And then play with expressing that pose. Feels great to reach out of that back heel. Not only are you getting the engagement, but you feel a nice stretch coming through the front of the thigh. And then pull it all the way up from root chakra right on up through crown. And then when you're ready, inhale, come up into that Vera 1 crescent. Crescent just keeps that back heel up, right? So the low back stays nice and safe. And then we play. We feel the lift up like we're reaching up through our thumbs. And then maybe we curl back just a little bit. And then we refire. We go to the breath. We refire the foundation. We re-engage. And maybe we go a little bit deeper. One more breath. And then exhale the hands down, step forward. Swing the arms up, big reach. Right? That's what the step forward is. Try to get that hip to extend. Maybe curl back. Inhale, come up. Exhale, fold. Now balance the weight in the feet. So front to back is going to be the heel and the ball of my foot. Side to side is going to be inner and outer edge. You could see here, though, we're trying to stack it up. So I'm trying to get the outside of my hip, knee, ankle bone all in one line. As compared to a hip hinge, all right, in human movement, your butt would be back behind your heels. But in yoga, we're trying to stack this up. So feel the difference in the two. Then as you look forward, drag your fingers back to you. That's our little trick to get the spine. So like I'm dragging my fingers this way. And as I pull back this way, it pulls my spine forward. So I made space. And then I could go ahead and fold into that space maybe a little bit deeper. You can do that every breath, which is where you hear me say you're a little more dynamic or a little more active in the posture. You could hold the posture a little more static. It's just whatever you want to play. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold. Sit back as the knees bend, swing the arms up, big reach. Maybe curl back. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hands in front. All right, right leg forward, left leg back, triangle. Find your distance. Back toes slightly turned forward. Front toes straight forward. Get nice and tall here. Yep, another reason why are we hanging out here for a couple breaths? Because we're so crunched here, right? Take a couple breaths and let this peel open. Yep, then when you're ready, hinge at the right side of that hip to bring the hand down to the block or the floor. Keep pushing down into the big toe mount on that right foot. Keep opening up that right side body. Yeah. Keep the left ear reaching to the sky, maybe even start to look up. One more breath. Well, I got to be honest. I think I'm staring at a half moon right now. It looks pretty damn half. It's right through the skylight. So here we go. Exhale the hand to the hip. Bend into that front knee. Half step or kick up into half moon. I'd have to say it was calling us. Now keep reaching that left foot back, like the left heel, to the wall behind you so that your right heel stays nice and rooted. Start to lengthen this sit bone towards the heel on the right side, and you'll feel that you're taking the left hip back. Yes, maybe take the arm up. One more breath. Now scissor the legs. Float back. Yes. Then bend into the lead knee, warrior two. Then step forward. It's like right there. I don't know if y'all could see it. It's right. If you look through that one, it's right there. I couldn't, looking up, it looks like a half, doesn't it? Yes. Yeah. Let's go side two, left leg forward, right leg back. I was telling you, last week I was in the water when it was a half moon, and I could not stop staring at it. It was because it was so close, and it was just this perfect line that, like, it was just so wild to stare at. All right, get nice and tall. When we're ready, hinge the left side of the hip. I guess that was like 2 weeks ago or so, somewhere around there.
See, when we take that time to open up and make that space, right, we're going optimal in the pose. We're not going to crunch in anything. If we just crunch into something, we're going to have to open that back up, but we're going to have to open it when now we're in the pose, right? And that's going to be a whole new challenge. We still do that, like here. Doesn't the left side body try to crunch, and we know we can't let it, so we got to engage the right to open up that left a little bit more. And then maybe we start to play with the balance by looking up here. So that's how you're going to start to warm the balance up. Then here we go. Elbow to hand to hip, bend into the lead knee. If you need a little more balance, drag your foot like this when you come up. See, even the mat came with me. I'm pulling the energy in. This time you're reaching your right heel back, so your left heel is heavy. Maybe the arm goes up. Maybe we start to look up. Yes, one more pose. And then scissor your legs together, float back. Yep, then bend into the lead knee, then step forward. Nice, y'all. Take a couple breaths. And then when you're ready, release the hands, sit back as the knees bend, swing the arms up. That right hand, grab that left wrist, take that little side bend. Feel that left side body opening up. We're trying to peel off that hip. All right, we got to get, this all wants to crunch. We got to get this to open up. Inhale, come up, swap side two. Head and throat back, arms back a little more, shutters down. Inhale, come up, exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, place the hands, step or jump back, downward dog. Move through your vinyasa 3 times. So just flow a little bit. Stay with your breath. Remember, the pace is going to be dictated by your breath, right? That's how fast or how slow you're going to move. We'll meet back in downward dog. Reach the right leg straight back. Step it through, lunge. Spin the back heel, come up, extended side angle. Plug the arm in, sweep it up along the cheek. Maybe right hand down to the block or the floor if you want to extend down a little bit. If you want to keep the elbow to the knee, awesome. Now even here, we're opening up the inside of the right thigh by lengthening right sit bone towards right heel. Right? And you could even use your arm that little bit, might persuade it. But then work the upper trunk and maybe start to rotate open. One more breath. Inhale, unwind, place the hand down, spin the back heel up, step back, downward dog. Reach the left leg straight back. Step it through, lunge. Spin the back heel. Parsva two. Same thing here like triangle. Back toes are slightly turned forward. For me, if you ever notice that I ride the inside edge of my foot, like right now my pinky toe side of my foot is up, that's to keep stress off my IT band, my TFL, so that my knee doesn't hyperextend. Right? I'm just trying to bring my ankle to a little more neutral. Maybe rotate open. One more breath. Inhale, unwind, spin the back heel up, downward dog, move through one vinyasa. Nice, y'all. And then from downward dog, exhale, lower your knees, sit back on your heels.
You know, when we talk about breath, you certainly want it to be like what your natural breath would be in the moment, right? I mean, you can lengthen your breath. Anybody ever do those little things on, social media? It would be like, hold your breath, and your lungs are 80 years old, 60 years old, right? You ever do that? I mean, just for sake of discussion, I usually hold it for twice. So whatever it goes through, I go like, then I make it go twice before it ends. Is that how I want to do my yoga? No. Just because I could hold my breath for a minute and a half isn't going to get me there, right? Like, that's not how I want to practice. But you want to think like, what's the breath of the moment? Well, right now, the heart rate's not too high, so your breath is pretty smooth, right? So that's where you want your breath to be. But what happens when we link a couple poses together? Your heart rate comes up, right? So your breath is going to come up. That's where you want to be when I say natural breath. It's still within the moment, right? Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. But you just want to be, where is it? What should it be naturally in that moment? We ready? That was our little rest. All right, come on up. Exhale, hands down, turn the hands out. When you manipulate your breath, right, as long as you can control it, do it. If it feels like it's out of control, and that's everything in your body, right? You can manipulate if you can control. If you feel like it's out of control, then you want to back out a little bit. That nice opener here up the arms and into the chest a little bit. Sit back on the heels, give those little wrists a spin. One more time. Exhale, hands down, turn the hands out. Pull the belly in, pull those shutters closed. So now think about your breath. We're not moving a lot, right? So our heart rate's not too high. So our breath is pretty low right now. It's very controllable. One more breath here. And then inhale, unwind, sit back on those heels. Hero's pose. So the space between our knees will be different for everyone, but we'll all have the outsides of the shins parallel with the outsides of the mat. Unsickle your feet a little bit, like turn them out, and you'll feel like your butt gets even lower to the floor. Flick your toenails into the mat, hug your shins in, sit up tall. Right hand behind, left hand to the outside of your thigh, sit up tall, and then take the twist. Spin that left shoulder back, right shoulder, sorry. Maybe start to peek over the shoulder. Any neck issues, let your head stay in line with your chest. If you want to take that twist up into the neck, start to peek over the shoulder. Inhale, come back to center, pause, swap. So take your left hand leg behind you, right hand goes to the outside of the thigh, sit up nice and tall, twist into the pose. This time take that left shoulder back. Feel the lift by rooting down and then breathing up, right? And then twist a little deeper. Inhale, come back up. Next inhale, come all the way up, all fours. And then just open up the knee and the hip. Right, what happens in a twist? Why do we exhale and twist? Because we got to clear the air out of there, right? It's going to be more efficient in your body. If you try to inhale and twist, you're filling your body with all that air. There's nowhere for it to go, right? Lower that side two down. Now take your right leg over your left. Take your feet apart. Sit back between your heels. There's that cow facing. Pretty intense pose, right? Definitely. And it's both sides. Right? It's not even like a side A and a side B here. It's pretty much both sides in this pose. Reach down to that left side, pull the sit bone back and out. And then on the right, you could pull the sit bone out and turn the thigh in even a little bit. Look at my feet. I'm active, right? Like I'm pushing on a gas pedal on both feet. Sit up nice and tall. Yep. Now we can hinge forward here. Some of us will be happy with that, right? We did the Gomukhasana arms, so some of you can get into that as well. That's left arm in front. We want to be opposite elbow, opposite knee. So since your right knee's up, your left elbow has to be up. So reach back behind, and then right hand out to the side, fingernails forward, Bend the elbow, start to wiggle the arms up. We do this pose a lot, right? Because I love any pose that's like a 2-for-1. All right, if you're gonna get multiple things out of something, I love that shit. Now, sit up tall. Yeah, not if you're in the fold. If you're in the fold, go for your fold, yep. If you're in Gomukhasana and the elbow's up, sit up nice and tall. Yep, so you're rooting down, now you're rising up. Now keep sliding the left shoulder back. That's how you get your hands to go closer. Yeah, keep taking the left shoulder back. Yep. And then exhale, release, unwind the legs. I think it's like, we want to think that this arm is going to come up higher, right? And it's not. This is the end range of motion for the shoulder, right? That's why, like, when you try to subdue someone, right? Your arm, they put their arm into this position, right? To try to like hold someone back because it's not going anywhere. This is the arm that you want to go deeper with. So on this arm, I don't want to go down. I want to go back. And the more I take this back this way, the closer my hands will come to connect. Does that make sense? Let's swap side 2. Always the bottom side first. So take the right side out, then the left. And then you'll feel like you're sitting up a little bit taller. You know? And some of us are just going to hold a minute or so to just let the body accept this part, right? And then when you're ready for Gomukhasana, the right arm plugs, goes behind. Yep. Left hand, fingernails forward. See, this is already internal rotation, right? We know we're going to max out on this one pretty fast. So now I take this right arm and I try to take my shoulder blade to the wall behind me. Yep, so take your shoulder blade on the right side to the wall behind you and you'll feel that your hands are now starting to get a little bit closer. And keep breathing. Keep trying to root down into that left sit bone. Feel how that thing's trying to peel up. Couple more breaths. Nice poses, y'all. Keep pushing your head back into your forearm. Yeah, you could look right over my head kind of. And then watch the boing as you release. Unwind that top leg. All fours. Reach one leg back. Take a couple breaths. And then lower it down, swap side 2. And then lower it down. Take a couple breaths. Step back to plank. Push back, downward dog. Reach the right leg straight back. Come forward, right knee to right elbow, back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Keep it slow. Come forward, knee to chin or chest. Back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Come forward across the body for the twist. So right knee to left elbow. Back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. One more time. All 3 of those. First the right, then the middle, and then across the body. Lower that right leg down. When you are ready, take a breath. Lift the left leg up. Come forward, knee to left elbow, back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Come forward, knee to chin or chest. And back. Go across the body for the twist. One more time through. It's getting strong in the arms right now. Stay with it. In the chest. Stay with it. Through the core, right? Be in that moment. That last one coming across the body. When you take that leg back, lower it down. Reach the right leg straight back, step it through, pigeon. So see here, for me, before I tend to go in my fold, I go right to that little trick I showed y'all. Hand to the foot, I hug in and I move my front knee back an inch or two. Then I hug back in and I move my back. That's how I usually start my pose. Because it's going to be way easier than trying to do this with your shin. All right, so just move back into the pose. Hug in, get all that power in the legs, pull up the pelvic floor, and then when you're ready, go for the fold. Done with those upper back rounds. Y'all usually see me like this. My thumb is killing me today, so I can't even put it on the ground, so I'm gonna hold my forearms. But what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna look forward. And when I'm gonna look out in front of my hands. And what that's gonna do is gonna initiate my spine to stay long. If I look like towards the midline, the middle of my mat, or toward my shin, my back's gonna round. But if I look forward, that's gonna keep initiating that extension through the spine. Now we got that nice opener on the outside of that right hip and down the back of that right leg. Couple more breaths. And then inhale, come up. Bend the left leg, reach back with your right hand. Walk your left hand towards the left edge of your mat and turn the shoulder. So you want to turn your bicep forward. Now start to twist open. Then draw the heel towards the sit bone for the quad stretch. Couple more breaths. Watch the boing as you release. Inhale, come back to center. Take a breath. Lift the hips, unwind that right leg, reach it back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. And then lower it down. Take a breath. Reach the left leg straight back. Step it through. Pigeon side two. Right? Always take a breath. Right? Stay in the breath. Because the common tendency is going to be that you're going to hold your breath. Right? And we don't want that. We want to keep the breath going smooth. See, now right away, I go right to hand to foot. I hug in, I move back a little bit. Now that's what feels good to me. Right? What feels good for you in your pose. And then if you're going to go into the fold, work those legs. Work up the core so you get nice and tall. And when you fold, control it. Right? Fold and collapse, two different definitions. You want to control what you're doing here. Whew. Now we're in the back of the hip and down the back of the leg on that left side. Keep looking out in front of you so the spine stays nice and tall here. And then notice how, as you soften your chest to the mat, not your chin, but your chest, it makes the pose go deeper. If our chin goes, it doesn't. But if our chest does, it does. That's what we want. We want the chest to come down. We always want the chest to lead the parade. All right? And the chin always wants to. Don't let it. And then a couple more breaths here. And when you're ready, inhale, come up. Bend the right knee, reach back with your left hand. Right hand goes to the edge of the mat. Yep, start to open the left side of the chest towards the sky. Then start to draw that heel towards the sit bone. Couple more breaths. And then watch the boing. Inhale, unwind, take a breath. Lift the hips, unwind that left leg, just reach it back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Then lower it down. Reach the right leg straight back. Come forward, right knee towards left elbow, kick the leg out to the side. Outside of the foot to the floor. Push back towards downward dog. Now drag that leg back to the right, and there's that TFL and IT band. Come forward, shoulders to wrist crease, spin to the inside of that left foot, draw the left elbow back, maybe reach up. Keep the power in the legs. Keep your left ear reaching up to the sky. Don't let your right ear fall to the floor. One more breath. Inhale, unwind. Reach that right leg back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Lower it down. Take a breath. Reach the left leg straight back. Come forward, left knee towards right elbow. Kick the leg out to the side. Then start to push back to downward dog. And then drag the leg back towards the left. Now, if you're not a tight TFL IT band person, you tend to feel it from the outside of your knee towards that ankle bone. Couple more breaths. And then inhale, look forward, come forward into that shoulders to wrist crease like a plank. Then spin to the inside of the right foot. Then draw the right elbow back. So you're pushing down in your legs. You're turning the bicep forward to root into the upper back. Then maybe we reach the arm up to the sky. Then maybe we look up. This time keep that left ear reaching up to the sky. So the right ear to the sky so the left ear doesn't fall to the floor. One more breath. Inhale, unwind. Reach the leg back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Exhale, lower it down. Look forward, bend your knees. Step or jump between your hands, swing your arms up. Big reach. Maybe curl back. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hands in front. Nice, y'all. Grab your mats, find a spot on the wall. We'll go upside down. Home crew, if you don't have the wall to kick up on, you can always lay on your mat. Bend your knees, interlace your hands behind your thigh as you reach your heel to the sky, and then take a bunch of breaths. And then you can swap into side two. If you're at home or in the studio, it's not your day to invert. You're always welcome to go legs up the wall or do a pose that feels good to you. I'll talk everyone through downward dog and L pose. Those of you that want to do your handstands, your headstands, your tripods, your pinch and mayas, right, anything like that, go for it. So if you're going to stick with me, we'll go all fours, hands and knees. Feet are touching the wall. If you're going to go on your own, whenever you're ready. So from all fours, hands and knees, set it up nice and strong, that low mountain, right where we started at today. Take a couple breaths. When you're ready, lift the knees and the hips so you come to short downward dog and just check in. You feel pretty good, step 1 foot up the wall. Still feel good, step the 2nd foot up the wall. And then with your knees bent, we'll be downward dog, inverted. More, right? Downward dog's already an inversion. It's taking it further. And then with your legs straight will be L pose. Nice, y'all. We're here at least another minute and a half, so take your time. So remember, when you kick up, if you're kicking up into L pose and downward dog, you want to bring your chest towards the wall that you're looking at. If you're in handstand or tripod or pinches, something like that, you want to bring your chest to the middle of the room. Yeah, Jer. Think of the same thing as if you're in the chair. Same move, right? But instead of you holding the handles and pushing down, push down into your hands. That was a good float. And think hips up. Push your hands down like it was the handles. Yes. Yes. Dude, that jump has gone a little further. You feel that? Just keep thinking of the handles, right? Keep pushing down. So we talked about that like earlier, right? To try to build up and learn something, right? We've been using the chair, and I've been bringing the chair up. The chair now, because what do I tell you about all these tools we have? Progressions or regressions? Progression, right? That's you saying, you know what? I can learn something off this, right? This block might give me some more space. That float is so much that, like, when I'm looking at that kick up, what I'm seeing is light. I'm seeing that it's getting light. It's starting to float up. As compared to a kick up that tends to look a little more like it'll be like, right? Where we're heavy and we just can't figure out how to get my hips light up to the sky. That shit's not easy. Do these look like they're meant to hold you up for very long? No. Look at the difference in size, right? And not even a comparison. There's 4 of these here, right? Like, these are meant to hold you up. These are meant to hold you up in some extent, right? But that's the play. If you get the friends in the game, then they can work a little while. Are we inverted out? I was watching y'all all the time. I didn't even go upside down. I was just watching what y'all were doing. I was into it. I tell you all the time, right? I love watching y'all, all of your yoga, right? It's like my own yoga. All right, let's go on our backs. Supported bridge, right? So the block can go at the sacrum if you want. I'll talk you into bridge and wheel. But play with what feels good to you. I try to keep it pretty straightforward in the morning, right, in our back bends, but whatever feels good to you. So let's start here on our backs. Knees are bent, feet are on the floor, sacrum is flat. Head and shoulders are back. Roll those shoulders back a little bit. Take a couple breaths. Make sure the sacrum's flat, because as you roll the shoulders back, what's probably going to want to happen is the belly is going to try to come to the sky. So if you roll the shoulders back that little bit, make sure you re-neutralize that pelvis. And then charge the legs up, fire up the core, and with your breath, slowly lift the hips. So if that inhale was 2 or 3 seconds, that's how long it's going to take us to lift, right? The exhale, how long does it take to lift? Whatever the play is going to be. Now keep the tops of the thighs back. So if you push too hard, your knees are going to splay out and your junk's going to like fly to the sky, and then we're going to bring the thighs forward. We don't want that. So make sure your knees are working in. So keep sweeping the inner heels out and think like internal rotation of your thighs. Maybe take the shoulders under a little deeper. Some of you are going to want to interlace your fingers. Go for it. Some of you might want to reach towards your ankles like this. Go for it. Gently push the feet down and forward. And as you lengthen the sit bones towards the backs of the knees to protect the lumbar spine, you'll feel the back bend getting deeper in the upper back. One more breath. And then stay engaged as you lower down. Let the feet go wide. Let the knees touch. One hand on your heart, one hand on your low belly. And go back to the breath. In back bends and in twists, right, the breath gets challenged. So that's why in this moment now, you want to take a full breath in, a complete breath out, right? Not only just to kind of reset everything, but to then like bask in that energy, right? That we just flipped, literally upside down and backwards here. All right, inhale, open the knees, reset the feet. Arms along the sides. Start in that nice neutral position. When you're ready, charge the legs, fire up the core, and on your breath, slowly lift the hips. And then if the hands are going to come underneath again, interlace the fingers, swap the hand hold. If you're going to reach your ankles, go for it. If you're going to go into wheel, place your hands wide to the edges of your mat. When you turn your hands out, you're going to feel like your shoulders come in line with the outside, your elbows come in line with the outside of your shoulders. We want that. Keep plugging those shoulders back. When you're ready, push down to come up. Same thing here. Keep sweeping the inner heels out, keeping the knees working towards one another. Stay engaged. When you're ready to lower down, lower down. See if you get that sacrum to land flat. Then the feet go wide, the knees touch. If your right hand was on your heart, left hand. Opposite hand to your belly. Full breath in, complete breath out. Right, this part of the practice is always like, to me, I could just feel the energy, right? It's almost like a spundle, like a vibration going through you, right? From you changing the direction of this energy. Open the knees, windshield wiper side to side, right? Think of the position we're in all day in the spine, the exact opposite of what we're trying to do in the back bend. And then come to neutral after you balance both sides out. Hug the knees into your chest. Give yourself a little hug or make a couple small circles, whatever feels good here. The sacrum on the low back a little bit. Come to neutral. Keep the knees bent, lower the feet to the floor. Inhale the right leg up, cross it over the left. When you scoot your hips to the right, that'll help you stay on your mat. Let your knees fall to the left. This gets the outside of that hip one more time too. Belly's in, shutters are closed. Root that right shoulder down into the mat. And you can look away from the bent knees. Remember, if it's better for you to keep your head in line with your chest, stay there. You want to look out towards the right, away from those knees falling to the left, go for it. Inhale, come back to center. Unwind the legs, scooch back to the middle. Then the left goes up. We cross it over the right, nice and tight. This time the hips go to the left that little bit as our knees fall to the right. Left shoulder stays nice and rooted into the mat. Belly's in, shutters are closed. Active from our feet up through our legs. Still connected into that core. And that nice twist and rotation through the spine. Right? Feel the difference in the breath. You can't pull that big inhale right now. Inhale, come back to center, unwind the legs, take the legs out straight. Take a big inhale as the arms go overhead. Feel the difference in that breath. Reach the fingers up, reach out of your feet. Maybe out of the heels, maybe out of the balls of the feet. Whatever feels good to you. And then hug those knees to your chest. Keep the knees bent, lower your feet to the floor. Hug the right knee to your chest, left hand to the outside of your foot. Reach the heel to the sky, and then just cross over the midline. There's that TFL IT band one more time. You don't have to go far. It's just really past the midline. You want that right hip to stay down on the floor. And then bend the knee. Come back to center, lower it down. Hug your left knee to your chest. Take your right hand to the pinky toe side. Take the heel to the sky. Keep the left hip down. Take the leg to the right just a little bit. And we're all right here. Again, like this isn't really me. I tend to get this from here to here is where I feel this even more. I do feel a stretch here, but it's not real intense because this isn't a real tight spot for me. Mine is the back of the hip all the way in the back. Then bend the knee, come back down. Take the legs out straight, reach the arms up overhead. But we tried to hit that whole complex today, right? Glutes, TFL, that whole side of the hip. And then reach, one more breath, and then hug those knees in. Take those knees wide, happy baby. You can rock side to side. You can reach one leg out, both legs out, whatever feels good to you. And when you're ready, inhale the knees to center. Exhale the legs out straight. We'll take Shavasana. Beautiful practice, crew. Feel free to add or remove layers or props. I'll talk everyone through laying flat. So here we just talked about this. Here we want to take our shoulders back. But you feel that when you take your shoulders back, your belly wants to come up off like towards the ceiling. So reach down to the fleshiness of your butt, lift up and push it down towards your heels. And you're gonna feel now that your low back and your sacrum has some kind of settling to it. And as you lay back, find that comfortable position. Maybe let your eyes close. We let the tongue soften from the roof of the mouth as we turn back to the breath. That's what our mind turns to. Right? Our body gets heavy as it releases and lets go. Our mind, we say it gets soft. It's going to turn back to the breath. It's not worried about what's going on after practice. It's not worrying about what was going on before our practice. It's right here in this moment with your breath. And your heart is starting to collect the practice. It knows its job is getting ready to come up. It's going to move the practice into the yoga of life. It will apply everything that we did here on the mat in the steps of our day. Because we never stop being yogis and yoginis. It just, we move into a new place. The yoga doesn't stop. It just manifests in a new way, in a new place. Yoga taught us to be conscious in everything that we do, to be mindful. Begin here to draw in a deeper breath. You feel the breath washing over the body, your toes to your fingers, to the crown of your head, to your heart, as you reawaken that better version of yourself. The fingers and the toes wiggle, the arms and the legs stretch, while we reach, we move in a way that feels good to us. But take your time, move slowly, move with your breath. When you're ready, you can hug those knees to your chest and just roll to the right side. Push your hands down as you come up to a seated position. We'll meet together with our eyes closed, our hands in front of our hearts. One more time to seal in our practice, our time together, the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Beautiful. As we softly bow our head to our hearts, our heads to each other's hearts. For all that hard work, that determination, that challenge, the love and the support you always give each other, it's to you that I bow. Namaste. Thanks, crew. Good to see everyone. You know, if you have any questions, anything feels weird, grab me before you go. Tomorrow I'll be here doing the workshop, arm balances and inversions. It's at 6:30 after my regular Friday class. Maybe I'll see some of y'all. If not, I'll see y'all soon. Thanks. You're welcome. Thanks, crew. Home crew, you know, if you need me, hit me up.